Now, let's go back to this story that we touch on, it seems almost on a weekly basis in different ways. This is new statistics that are revealing the grim reality facing white working-class British pupils in our schools. Most alarmingly, they're being punished more than any other group. Listen to this, 1 in 10 suspended each year. It's a huge number. Academically, they perform worse than nearly all other ethnic minority groups, except Black, Caribbean and some traveller children. Let's speak with Philip Kiszely, cultural historian, senior fellow at the New Culture Forum, regularly helps us out with these kind of stories. Always good to get you on, Philip. Why are we constantly seeing headlines that are very similar to this? It's disturbing.
First of all, hi Ian, it's great to see you again. Yeah, it really is. I think if you just look to the broader culture, we see a culture that absolutely blames white people for absolutely everything, okay? We have in education, and we have for a long, long time, we've had decolonization, we've had the kinds of people who are going into teaching tend to have blue hair, tend to be festooned with LGBTQI plus regalia. There tends to be rainbow flags, progress flags all over classrooms. So one of the key problems is that white working class children don't turn up, actually, don't turn up to school. I can't blame them. You know, I don't think I'd turn up either if I was going into that environment, because I'm being facetious there, obviously, but there is an element of truth in it, because that environment is actually harmful to them. It's set up against them. You know, if you're a white working class boy and you're going into an identity politics setup, then that setup is essentially predicated on the fact that it hates your father and it hates your male forebears. You know, you are the root of all evil there. So I think there are huge amounts of problems. Also, it comes down to economic hardship as well. Some of the key areas here that we're talking about, Blackpool is one key area, which is devastated, and also the northeast as well, and the north in general. So I'm extremely worried about this in so many ways, and I think it's very difficult to see an easy fix.
Indeed, and there doesn't ever, you know, every time we've talked about this, Philip, you know, whether I've got ministers on or former ministers or educationalists, there's always the same kind of line that's wheeled out. Oh, we're aware of it, we're onto it, we're going to sort it. But it never gets sorted. We are here yet again.
It never gets sorted, but there's something else here, Ian, as well. I mean, one of the reasons that Bridget Phillipson is on this at the moment, and she's actually actively admitted that she's, you know, that they failed white working class children. Yeah. And she's set up this attendance and behaviour hubs thing. The only reason she's really on this is because of the surge of reform in the polls, and obviously reform are on this, absolutely. But there's something, I don't know, I think about this, Ian, and I think this, they want, actually, these kinds of people, their whole ethos is about making white people a problem, making them poisonous, okay? And so there's something there that's quite satisfying for them, I think, about seeing ethnic minorities doing really well at the expense of the white working class. And bearing in mind that the Labour Party was set up to serve the white working class, there's something really repulsive about it.
Indeed, yeah.
But all of their, you know, all of their ideas, all of their ethos is set up to bring these people down and to not to serve these children and to make life difficult for them. Let's remember, Ian, that white working class guys, when these kids grow up, it's white working class guys who are primarily going to be homeless, okay, who are going to commit suicide, who are going to suffer from depression, and who are going to be lonely. So Bridget Phillipson here is saying, look, parents, take responsibility for your children, make sure they turn up to school. It's almost like an abuser lecturing their victims in a way, you know what I mean? It has that kind of feel to me. So it's really sickening that they're doing this, but you're absolutely right. We do need to do something about it.
We do indeed. I sense, though, Philip, we may well speak about this again in 2 years' time in different forms, whether it's about who gets into university, whether it's about who is doing well at A-levels or GCSE levels. And in this case, you know, we see more kids of that group suspended. I think you might be onto something with your first assessment about what a classroom looks like in the 21st century. Is there a serious politician out there, do you sense, Philip, that is likely to take this on board and actually do something about it?
Well, I think at the moment, Ian, reform are the only game in town. So you have to look at reform and you have to think, what are they saying about it? I think they've got some really good ideas, but maybe, they need some help with policy. Think tanks like Westminster think tanks like New Culture Forum, for example, could help there.
Yep.
I think there's a definite sense that we need definite ideas. Well, there's a few things you can do straight off. You can get different kinds of people into the classroom. I'm thinking about training ex-coppers, ex-service people, white males, taking away that element of poison and presenting positive role models to white working class boys, and rethinking what an education means. It doesn't necessarily mean going to university to study the arts, humanities and social sciences. I think that's over for universities, and I wouldn't suggest that any white working class boy does that anyway. It's about STEM subjects, but it's also about trade, getting to being a plumber, being a carpenter. All of those things I think are vital. Being a builder, all of those things are vital because they're real life skills, and we don't actually value them enough in this country, and we really should.
Yeah, spot on. Philip, always good to have you on. Thank you, sir. Philip Kiszely, cultural historian, senior fellow at the New Culture Forum. Thank you to him.